We are live. Welcome to Mr. Bet on You on YouTube. If you're watching a replay, please let me know in the comment section down below and hit that subscribe and thumbs up on the way in. I got a topic for you guys tonight that's relevant to this week, relevant to many of you that have dealt with this over the last years that you've been an independent contractor, a gig worker, a food delivery driver, whatnot. So I'll get into a little bit of what we're going to talk about. StreamYard link will be available soon enough. So if you want to join the show, you'll have that opportunity. And welcome back. I appreciate y'all. Sorry I was a little bit late. Deactivations. We've talked about them. I've interviewed people that have been deactivated. I got deactivated this week, and I take responsibility for it. But it led me down a path I did not expect to go when I started this week. And I began to think about starting these Sunday lives back. And I'm thinking I'm going to do that. Many of you have shared with me over the course of this week, and I've done a little bit of looking into, a little bit of research, talked to a few people, talked to 2 lawyers this weekend, that you've been faced with a deactivation and you've had they gave you no reason, or somebody lied, or you were unaware, or the Face ID did not recognize you because you shaved your face. Like, there's a lot of reasons. And AI is involved in these deactivation appeals in the beginning process. You will get deactivated. That's the title of this live. I'm going to say hi to everybody in just a minute. Or actually, before I really start, you guys can hear me. Can I get a thumbs up in the chat? I think you guys can. Let me see. Hit that thumbs up. If I can get a thumbs up, that'd be great. Appreciate you, Cheeky. Okay. I lost my train of thought. No, we're good. Many of you have been deactivated and you didn't do anything wrong. Most people that probably lose their ability to earn in the gig economy did something wrong. Technically, that's not lost on me. Okay? That's not lost on me at all. This isn't going to be, I'm not going to pander to people just because we're mad and angry and we did nothing wrong. We do things wrong. That's why I said everybody will get deactivated, because everybody watching this, everybody watching on a replay, you've probably, the likelihood of you doing something against TOS, if you're aware or unaware, whether you're streaming live, whether you're a content creator, and many content creators have been deactivated, whether you're somebody that's not, you're just a viewer. Most people that do this work are not on YouTube and Facebook and Reddit in these chat rooms. We know that. Okay? There's tens of millions of people that are in the gig economy doing some kind of food delivery or shopping. 7 million worldwide alone on DoorDash, and you can probably double that when you talk about the other platforms. Everybody's doing something to get deactivated. I stand by that. And some of you are like, no, Pedro, I don't do anything wrong. The reason I say that is most people aren't looking at the TOS. And some people will get caught or busted or snitched on. That's what happened to me. I'll talk about that in a later video this week. A customer did not call Spark. Somebody snitched on me from YouTube. I have the proof to back that up. So I say that it's a cautionary tale. Do what you can to protect yourself, but these companies don't care about you and I. That's not hot news. That's not something that's groundbreaking. It's not breaking news. We know that. So what can we build for ourselves to give us some kind of protection when we lose an app? Because, mark my words, you will lose the app. Deactivation, through automation, through robotics, through saturation. Many of you are struggling. The ones that I see, that I talk to or see with my own eyes that are having success, have either left this work, or they went from full-time to part-time, or they did something completely different, or their circumstance is so unique that they can do this full-time and it's okay, and they just add another app and they do this and they do that. That's not the norm. You will get deactivated in some words. Deactivation is a strong word, but what I mean by that is losing the ability to earn. Because it doesn't matter why you get deactivated, why this happened, who did it, what you did. When you can't turn an app on to make money, that's a problem for many of us. So what do we do about it? Tonight is a stream where I'll give some input. People can come up and give some input. What are we building for ourselves that cannot be taken away? That statement will not be for everybody because not everybody aspires to do something like that. But for the few that want to try to build something and think about just how vulnerable you are, maybe that's the word of the night, vulnerable. We as gig workers are extremely vulnerable to what the apps do or don't do. We are very vulnerable. So let me say hi to everybody. I appreciate y'all. How many people we got here? 151. Not bad. Appreciate y'all. Hit that thumbs up button. All right, let me go up a little bit and say hello to everybody. And before I'll say hello and then I'll say a little bit more. Cheeky, PPP. I see Jeff Rohr. I see Iceman. I see Yoga. I see Johan. I see RT the brand. I see Gig Wars officials. What's up? You're good. Oh, I'm good. Thank you. Aaron, what's up? Pedro, check your Kosh app. I don't know what that means. Roberta, what up, what up, what up? Joe, WM, trying to say everybody's name real quick. Emil, independent contractor, LM, I basically am deactivated. DoorDash want me, let me unless 80%. Basically. RT, I see Jen, Carrie, Bobby loves to thrift. What's up, what's up? Dawn, Roy. Roy, maybe we'll get to that. And even if I do, I won't make that public knowledge because I don't believe in snitching and having other people's livelihoods taken away. I think I would never do that to somebody. Drain the Swamp, Christina. Say hi in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Adventure. I see my man Thomas. What's up, bro? Juan, what's up? Logical perspective. Deliver with Taz. What's up, man? Happy to see you. I am the one. All right. So the StreamYard link will be open just a little bit. I also want to say one other thing, okay? Because doing this kind of work, we talk about vulnerability. You will get deactivated. Listen. I've seen a lot of things on YouTube, right? And I guess lesson learned here, right? When you have your name on YouTube, you can be easily found. It's very easy to find, somebody calls like, oh, this guy, I got his name. He's insane. It's easy, right? But at the end of the day, my deactivations, I wear them. Like, I take the L. Like, there's nothing wrong. I don't want this stream to be, I don't feel sorry for myself, And just because I make some videos and I'm like maybe animated or maybe a little angry because I lost an opportunity and the app didn't tell me why, that doesn't mean I put all the burden of guilt on them. I know my role in what I do. And I do it knowing the risk versus reward. And I'm okay. I might not be happy, but I'm okay and understand, hey, if I lose an app, I lose an app. It's not the end of the world. So if and when you get deactivated, when you get fired, when you get laid off, it's not about that. What do you do about what happens to you? And I've done a few things and done some searching and opportunities. And if anything, and what I've shown on this channel, and this isn't me boasting, or this is just my truth, right? And maybe some of you have recognized it. If I lose something, I don't stop. I don't give up. I've lost monetization on YouTube. I didn't stop making videos. I didn't cry and whine about it. I basically self deactivated myself from DoorDash. I'm making more money in the gig economy than I was with DoorDash. Because we learn, we grow. We're independent contractors. We're hustlers. We're some contractors. We're employees without benefits. Whatever we want to call ourselves, you are what you think you are. If you think you can't do something, you won't do it. If you play the victim, you are the victim. If you figure it out, get mad for a day, be in your feelings, we're humans. We're entitled to that. And then the next day you wake up, put your shoes on, put your boots on, and figure it out. That's what many of you do. That's what I try to show you guys as well. It's a gig economy app. I made money without Spark before. I'll make money without Spark after. There are so many opportunities in this beautiful country that we live in. That's a message. We're vulnerable, but you're only as vulnerable as you allow it to be. That's the reality. Jose, appreciate that super sticker, brother. Thank you very much. But that doesn't have to be your reality beyond that moment of when you lose something or something gets taken away or whatever, right? Okay, so Let me go ahead and hear Bobby. What up? What up? Yeah, I don't know if Spark necessarily. I'm going to share the link in just a few minutes here. I think I don't feel like necessarily they did me dirty. Other people have been done more dirty, but there's flaws and cracks in the system. And in talking to some people, talking to two lawyers, and doing a little bit of research and reading some of y'all's comments, I've definitely learned. Oh, hold on, sorry. I definitely learned there's cracks, there's chinks in that armor. But Walmart's such a big company, and they got the best lawyers in the world, right? They're not tripping off somebody like me or a group of people saying they're going to do this, or you know drivers not. They got so many people to deliver their products, so I think they've done some of y'all dirty before, but that's the way businesses are. That especially with all this AI, these companies, and they're all over the place. Every single gig app that I've ever had on my phone has AI in some way or another. Every single one, whether it's an in-app chat, an onboarding, a video, when you make a phone call, when you have an issue with an order, a customer, AI is around us and it's going to continue. And there's good things with it, but with what we do and not having an HR department, not having any protections, AI is hurting us like a lot. It really, really is. So, depending on how this goes, Walmart could have some problems. They could have some problems. There's a lot going on in this nation with legislation and certain politicians trying to do this and do this for. I don't want to go that route, but at the end of the day, just because I know I'll be fine doesn't mean I can't still try to fight for some of y'all out there to maybe make it a little bit better 5 years down the line for the next person that wants to use these apps as an opportunity. Because when you sit around and we just say, "Oh, well, just it's a company. Let them do whatever they want. Let them make money." No, if we let companies do that, we wouldn't have the rights that we have, the labor rights that we have right now, if our great grandfathers didn't do that years ago. I want you to think about that. We were vulnerable then. Americans were vulnerable then. We're not as vulnerable now, but the vulnerability is just different. So think about if your great grandfather didn't go on strike, didn't picket. Think about if they didn't have certain measures put in place, overtime pay. These are things that haven't been around that long. Anyways, I don't want to get on like some like soapbox. You guys on here for a history lesson, all right? Um, so this is what I would disagree with completely. So that's not true. I want you to think about some companies that were as big or at the time bigger than a company like Walmart, and then Walmart lost or said company lost. Philip Morris comes to as an example. Monsanto, water companies, airlines. We see these kind of class actions, and a lot of them can be kind of whatever. Just because a company's big does not mean they always win. David and Goliath. Everybody heard that story? So um, Roy, you're wrong. Look at this. The super random's got a funny comment. I want to get on that too. Pedro, check under the bed W2 instead of a boogeyman. So a lot of you guys have what's interesting about YouTube. I'm going to say this and then we'll get into the StreamYard. What's interesting is people like the negative, or they like to see somebody lose something, or they like to see somebody fail, or they like the drama. Whatever bow you want to put on it, right? Not a coincidence that it's like 26,000, 27,000 views with the two Spark deactivation videos back to back. That's a lot of views for me, just with those two videos. But people like to see people fail. It's a little sad, but that's just the society that we are. It makes us feel better about ourselves. We want to prove somebody wrong. But at the end of the day, going back to a W-2 would not be a loss for any of you, for me, or for anybody. Anybody that's doing anything, waking up and contributing to society and taking care of their family, my two girls that I have upstairs, right? Other people that I care for, like anything that you can do that's right to take care of your family, something wrong with it. And I've just been blessed that I haven't had to go back to traditional W-2 work and work for somebody else in that way. Because we're all working for somebody. Even if you're a business owner, then if you own that business, your boss is your customers and your clients or whatever, right? So everybody's working for somebody. And just because I don't want to clock in and out or have a salary position and work 60 hours at a restaurant, like, we're doing okay. And part of the bet on you mindset, the brand, what I preach about here, showing you guys literally everything, even when I shouldn't sometimes or I don't have to, is because I do want to inspire and motivate. Because I do all this with an iPhone. And it's been basically 5 years. We've had failures, successes, learned a lot. But I know there's some people out there like, this guy just never stops. In the face of the hate, people snitching, people sending me crazy emails, people pulling up on me in the face of all that, we don't stop. I have never stopped, and I will never stop. A deactivation, because you all will get deactivated from something in life, a gig app, a relationship, a home, a job. It's going to happen. The word deactivation can be thought about in many different ways. Your health, anything that you don't really take care of and really think about and do it with purpose could be taken away like that. But we don't have to stop. We don't have to live in the negative. Don't live in that moment. Don't play the victim. And just because two things can exist at the same time, just because we know that doesn't mean we can't go against these companies for the shoddy deactivation policies that they have. Not that they shouldn't deactivate. We should deactivate bad drivers if they do something wrong. When I made the DoorDash video calling those customers out and I showed the one lady's name, DoorDash should have deactivated me for that. I would have done the same thing if I am a decision maker at that company. But that doesn't mean that most deactivations should be handled with more care because there's a human being on the other side. And when you take somebody's livelihood just because a customer said you were drunk as an Uber driver, or I didn't get my packages, I didn't do this, or just because a merchant says he had a bad attitude, the app shouldn't just AI shouldn't just take your livelihood away. That's wrong. That is wrong. And we can fix that. We can fix that. All right, I appreciate y'all. All right. I'm struggling. My phone over here is it frozen? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, appreciate y'all. Hit that thumbs up. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link in here. For anybody who wants to come up, we can talk about deactivations. What can we do? What should we do? Is there anything that we can do? What should the companies do when a driver does something against TOS? Is there a better way? Should it be just a swift chop off and that's it? Right? Is that part of being a 1099? The conversation can go anywhere. And if somebody has other things going on with them, if somebody's building something, like, we can talk about that as well. So I got some time and I plan on being on here. Anybody can come up. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link real quick. And I'll read some comments while I have the guys waiting in the background. If nobody wants to come up, I can talk for hours. I'm good with that as well. So let me go ahead and do this. Hold up one second. I'm gonna have to figure out how to pin that. Hold on. Before I do that, this phone is acting weird. And happy Sunday, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. If you're working, I hope you're being safe. Hope you're doing all right. All right, let me go ahead and go in here real quick. That way I can pin it if I click that. Okay, and then let me see. Can I pin that? Oh. There we go. Okay, so it should be pinned up at the top of the live channel there. If you haven't been on this show, and this is a topic that excites you, I love to talk to new people. I love to give everybody a voice. All I ask is be respectful. That's it, right? If you come in and something goes crazy, I'll just kick you out. But I'd love to hear from you guys. It's pinned up at the top. Let me go ahead and read some comments here. Cloud Canty says, is there a reason why you don't do a trade like CDL, driving, journeyman, content editor? I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't want to do what I'd have to do to be over the road like that and be away from the family. Because when I was working restaurants for 18 years, I missed a lot of my first kid growing up, missed certain things, and now that I'm a little bit older, I still work, I still hustle, but I just don't want to miss certain things with nieces and nephews and family. And my girl's family's moving back to St. Louis, and they got almost a 1-year-old boy. Like, I just like to be available for things. And I don't see the need. I'm not against doing any line of work to take care of the family. I'm not some lazy, like, oh no, my ego's gonna get in the way. I'm not gonna do that job. No. I'll do any kind of job. Like, if I have to, I'll do what I got to do. I'm just not to that point. Like, I still built up certain things in my life to where I'm okay, and I work really hard to make sure I can do those kind of things. So, um, Dan says, even across 6 different gig apps, there is no longer enough to go around. So much oversaturation now that more and more people are laid off. I'm telling you, it's for about 10% or less, they're going to be able to continue. And I've been saying this for the last couple of years. About 10% of y'all will be okay because of certain situations. But 90% of people that are going to do this work and do it for an extended period of time shouldn't do it or are going to struggle. We see that. I believe that's true. I see Mike in the background. I see Roy Talk with Roy. Are we going to have some other panelists? We got these guys from last week, but they're always welcome here. I appreciate anybody that gives us time. I see, oh, my man, Gig Bell Toes. All right, I'm going to bring you guys up in a minute. That's great. All right, so we got 3 guys coming up. I think I can only do 3 or 4 at a time. So if anybody else wants to come up, wait a little bit. But Quilaya, what's up? What's up? Let me read this comment real quick. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Hey, Paige. Hey, brother. Saw you were live. Pop in and say hello, beautiful beings. Have a good evening, everyone. I can end live right now. That's like one of my favorite people right there coming in saying hello. I love you. Love you, sister. Have a great one. I hope you and the fam, hope the health is good. Appreciate you so much. All right. So, Jeff Roy says AMF versus Roy again. That's funny. So let's talk about kind of the topic at hand. If we have other things, I'm good with that. I love doing these live panels. I've kind of missed them. I hadn't been doing a lot of lives as Mel for as long. So my energy's back. Things are more balanced. So I plan on trying to do these at least 2 times a month, every week if I can. But Tim, whatever. Don't you end up on a live? I just logged on. No, we're not going to end it. All right, let me bring these guys up. I'll bring everybody up at the same time. These guys know the rules. They've all been on here before. 1 second. So we got Mike. What's up, man? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing, man?
Just hanging in there.
Okay, gotcha. Let's bring Roy up. Roy, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Let's bring in Gig Bell Toes. What's up, brother? How are you? Oh, you're muted. Unmute yourself, Gig Bell. Hold on. So Gig Bell, you got to unmute yourself, or I'm gonna have to.
Sorry about that. I had to get my dog.
Oh no, you're good. Can you hear us?
Come on.
He's hiding.
He's
He's
we
hiding.
like dogs. We
He looks like he's hiding back there like Spark waiting to deactivate somebody.
So we brought Mike up first. What up, Hannibal? Hannibal's in the house. What's up, man? How you doing? So we brought Mike up. So Mike, what give me your input on everybody's going to get deactivated at some point. We should be trying to build something for ourselves. We're kind of vulnerable as gig workers. What are your thoughts on when I say those things? How do you feel?
I mean, I've been deactivated on Walmart Spark.
What was the reason?
It was like, the exact same thing happened to you. I didn't have a reason. I don't know. I think it was the time where the whole ID thing, where the face recognition was all messed up. And so what I did was I just kept messaging them, like appealing. And I did more than 1 or 2 or 3 appeals. I just kept appealing every week. And then after, I would say, like a month or so, we just want to let you know, or you're back on the platform, you're good to go. I'm like, I never really got a reason, but I think it was from the ID thing, because I did hear about a lot of people having issues with that. So
yeah, so kind of like I've heard that from other people, kind of like something an automated kind of glitch in the system where the ID match just didn't really match up all the way, and they had to temporarily deactivate you, which it sucks, but I kind of get it because we do want to have safety on the app, and I think the facial recognition is really good. I don't know how you feel about the Face ID. I'm for it.
No.
I think we need it.
I mean, I like it and everything, but it just needs to be better, because like one little slip up, if if your hair's different or something's different, it's gonna like not recognize you. And that can kind of kick you off the platform.
What happened to me? My hair was
I
down.
hear you. Right? Yeah, I gotta slick my hair back, make sure I'm combed and everything, and then but better go ahead and do it. Now, the one thing I don't like about it is, so when I'm doing a prescription drop offs, like it'll want me to do that while I get to the store and then after I drop off the prescription. Does that happen to you too?
Absolutely, I think that's a system thing because of what you're delivering.
Okay.
It's pharmacy stuff, and I think there's extra liability fees maybe on the Walmart end, so they really need to make sure that it's being handled differently. But yeah, that definitely
Hmm.
sucks. I've witnessed that as well, and it happened a couple of months ago with me. But so Roy, what do you say, man? I'm saying everybody's going to get deactivated at some point. We should try to build something for ourselves. Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, you should try to build something for yourself, but most gig workers have put themselves in a position. Most gig workers have put themselves in a position they can't do that. That's why they're doing the gig work in the first place. As far as and it just goes to show you, like I've said in the past, you're not your own boss. These guys control your guys' destiny, and they're going to do it the way they see fit because nobody's going to put them in check. There's nobody to put them in check. But as far as building something, yes, you should always try to build something better. But when you're behind the 8 ball doing these gig apps in the first place, it's kind of hard to get ahead when you're behind the 8 ball already, where you're struggling just to pay your bills every month. Your cars are breaking down. You can't afford to fix them, blah, blah, blah. Then you're getting deactivated because you're being mean to the Uber lady. I'm going to bust your balls about that, being mean to the Uber lady. And then you know how that goes. But when they're already behind the 8 ball, bro, like you did your YouTube platform, you were able to use that to boast, but we know this YouTube on gig work is played out. It's played out. So it's going to be hard for a lot of people when you're already behind the 8 ball to do something better. But it just goes to show you're not your own boss.
I feel like you've been an advocate for, and a lot of people, in the chat and in comments have always said, "Hey, man, get a W-2, do this part-time," right? So are you still? That's the way you think it should be done for most people?
Yes. I think you got to have something that's going to give you guaranteed money every week. You got something guaranteed in the bank. I think that's a given. You got to have something there. Plus, it gives you that option to have insurance, gives you that option to have some kind of retirement later on down the road, depending on what you're doing. So you always have something. And then you could just do like you said, you do the gig work part-time. That's money maybe you can put away, or it'll save you for a rainy day or whatever the case may be. But I think at this point in the gig work situation, yes, you're always going to have those anomalies that are able to do it full-time because they live in that market that gives them that opportunity to do it full-time still. But the way I'm seeing gig work, as much videos as I see and this and that is this, what I see is it's becoming more of a better part-time position to do versus the full-time like it used to be. Like I would be all about the full-time. If it used to be like when I first started in the 2016, I'd be all for it. Because back then it was good. Everything was good. They treated you a little better. But at the same time, I think it's totally part-time. It's getting to be part-time right now to where you got to have something guaranteed, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So Gig Bell Toes, I appreciate seeing you, man. I'm so happy to see you here. What do you think about tonight's topic? And I know you've had things going on and stuff. So how you feeling about gig work right now in general? Just give me your take.
Well, I haven't been deactivated for anything, not yet. I'm gonna find a table right now and go to there we go. But I imagine it would happen at some time. But Roy's got a great point. I mean, absolutely, you want to need to have some sort of guaranteed income. It definitely helps. Part time is absolutely the way to go on these things. And sorry, I went through. It's been a while since I've been on the live. We've been going through some tough times here, but shut up, dogs. We buried my mom not too long ago. She passed away. She finally lost her battle with cancer, but she's not fighting with it no more. So it's a good thing. She got to be at home, which is great. A lot of people don't get that luxury. But hold on one second.
Sorry to hear that. I appreciate y'all showing some love for our man Gig Bell Toes and his family, man. That's tough, bro. Sorry.
But we're doing good. We actually worked out a deal where we get to keep our house, so that's was good too. And I'm still staying here with my dad to help him take care of things. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna leave the guy alone. You know, I think he'd be kind of. I would never tell him this, but I don't think he'd be okay by himself. So I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm here.
You know, he's lucky to have you. So that's
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. Glad to see you. You know, when I think about, you know, to Roy's point, you know, I think and gig wise, Tim is in here. He's a fellow St. Louisan, right? And he's been doing this kind of work for a while. And his situation is different than maybe others. You know, like there are still a lot of people that can do this and do it and this be their 100% of their money and do it okay, because everybody has different bills, different dreams, different things that they got going on. You know what I mean? Like some of us have 5 kids, some have no kids, some kids are grown up, some are getting Social Security so they can work a little bit on the side. You know, like there's a lot of different reasons people come to this, but most people come here, they're doing it for a couple of months. So they don't even face a possible deactivation or any issues because they do it for such a short amount of time just to fill the gap between a job or during summertime when they're not in school, or seasonally if there's some kind of, you know, person that has seasonal work, they do it on the slow times of their work, right? Maybe they have a trade and they do it then. So there's so many different kinds of people that do this kind of work. And I think I sometimes, and maybe you guys can relate, we get lost in what we see and what we watch on YouTube, and we think that that's the reality. We think, and I think there's so few of us actually on YouTube either creating or watching a live or in a comment section. And that doesn't really, I don't think that speaks to the general experience of most gig workers and what they actually face and what they're making and why they come to it. I know I can at least tell myself, like, I have a different, I think my perspective isn't always reality of what I think is real for most workers out there. And I was always very like anti protest because I'm like, you can't protest, you're 1099. But I'm starting to have a more of a better understanding as why people will actually try to fight for something. Because I think most people, most gig workers, like Roy said, they're not, they don't, they're just week to week. They don't even have money for a car repair. They don't have this. And that sucks, you know, and that's not always that person's fault, you know, like it's tough to do this kind of work sometimes. And getting deactivated, if I didn't have YouTube and some other things, that deactivation would have sucked a lot worse. You know, like it would have been completely different for me. And I'm very grateful, but it doesn't mean that it's okay. Like the way that they do it immediately without you even being able to rebuttal it. You know, if they would have told me, oh, this customer A said they didn't get their groceries, so a customer can lie and then you lose your livelihood, that's a problem.
Also, what
What do you
sucks
guys
is
what do you guys say
if
to
you get
that?
deactivated too. What also sucks is like if you're not set where you're being paid out immediately, that company will keep your money. That's the biggest BS of the whole thing. But you know, I have
That's
most of them
something
set to where it's paid out immediately though, just in case.
that's something they should be sued for, holding back your earnings.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's
Right.
But I haven't seen anybody attempt to do that. So,
No.
but it doesn't help also when you're on YouTube, and I'm gonna bust your balls, Pedro, getting yourself deactivating.
Put on the metal underwear, Pedro. Put it on there.
Come on, we got you know, when you're out there doing stuff that's self deactivating yourself. I granted freedom of speech, and you got it, but bro, you gotta realize, man, Uber lady, she has nothing to do with this stuff, you know, and shit like that, bro. So you got to be careful. I've always said gig workers are their own worst enemy, and you kind of proving my point when you do shit like that on YouTube, bro. It sets a bad example.
You know what? I think I can't disagree with you, but what I would challenge you with is when I do stuff like that, it's calculated. I'm doing it for a reason. I understand. I have a channel. I understand that video. If you really watch the whole thing, was a teaching editorial. This is why. We've all had to deal with support. It sucks. We've all talked about it. It sucks. They don't care. They read off a script. They can help you sometimes. Most of the times they can't. You're calling when you need something. It's frustrating. You have to wait 5-10 minutes. It sucks. So yeah, the frustration tends to boil. We're all humans, right? That's not an excuse. It's the reality. However, I wind up talking to a supervisor. She was going to give me $3.
Yeah, I remember.
I got the full payout, right? And the guy thanked me because I made that company aware of something they weren't aware of. If I would have just canceled it like most people, and I've done it before, and then just went on with my day and didn't spend 45 minutes of my time, that order would have stayed in the algorithm. And who knows how many other drivers would have had the same experience, and then those other
Ran into
drivers in
that
St.
problem a
Louis,
lot of times with Uber.
those other, yeah, then now we're going to waste a second driver's time, a third driver's time, a fourth driver's time. And then this poor old lady is waiting for 2 hours
Yeah,
instead of,
but then again, you got to look at it. You're putting your own livelihood at risk when you do shit like that.
yeah, but I don't, but
Granted,
listen, Roy,
I am the worst.
I don't care
Yeah.
about that. I'm not worried.
Well,
I'm not worried about that.
Well, you have a family to care about, so we should care about that somewhat. But hey, I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of the worst when it comes to fucking customer service. I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of the worst. Y'all know my history. I'm horrible.
Oh, Roy, not you, baby.
But at the same time, you also got to remember, you got a rat motherfucker. Excuse my legs. Sorry, I can't stand rat ass people. I'm sorry, but you have a rat in this fucking room that's not helping your situation either. And I'm glad you kind of found out who your rat is. But that's the shit you got to worry about, because that's how I lost my job with Domino's. Remember that? So I know what it's like to lose a job because some rat piece of shit in the chest. I'm sorry, I can't stand them, bro.
Yeah, I think when what I've learned about that is when you put yourself out there, you're gonna have people that like you and don't like you. It is what it is. I'm very opinionated. I wear hats that people don't like.
Yeah.
I say things like I am gonna be who I am. Like it's my channel. I'm gonna do
but,
that. I've always
yeah,
done
but there's
that.
a thing that if you don't like me, stay off my shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. Stay off my
Yeah,
stuff.
but people
If you don't
don't
like
do
me,
that.
you
People
don't cause,
People.
exactly. They want to be miserable, like their shitty ass life. I understand where you're coming from with that, but still, it's just the principle of the matter. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand these people.
So so I want to kick it to Mike. I want to get Mike's thought on this because you said you got deactivated. It was kind of like a facial ID thing, probably, but they were really vague.
Yeah.
Like what do you have if you go tomorrow to work and something happens? God forbid something happens. You lose the opportunity to turn your app on. What do you do when that happens? Have you thought about that? What's your plan B or C to make sure you can still earn money?
Okay, so that's a big one, but I'll go ahead and tell you like where I'm coming from. So I have many backups. So I run my own delivery business. I have my own cargo van. I have business cards. I go to merchants that do complain about catering, on different apps and stuff, that they don't have the right equipment or the right bags or anything like that, or that they don't show up. And I'm like, well, hey, I got my business card. I do this for a living. Get a hold of me. And I have a few merchants underneath, my wing for work. And I also do a regular job too. I do overnight security. It's $20 an hour just to sit there all night and look at a camera, which is easy, and I'll do that. And also I do investments. I trade cryptos and stuff like that. I was in that stuff in 2016 and up. I teach people that stuff, how to trade in and out, making money. I do this on my channel as well. And I also do fitness training on the side as well. I train people. I do diet plans, stuff like that. So I come from I like the whole hustler game. I like making fast money as quick as possible. I don't tend to like working like long periods and hours and stuff like that, but I do have a regular job part time. So I do 4 days, just security, 8-hour shifts. But I'm also working on my own business as well, delivering pretty much anything. So I'll deliver beds, car parts, you name it. And that's the one thing I do like about the delivery business. But yeah, if one of my apps did go out, or Walmart Spark, I have many other ways of making money because that's how I've always been. I also buy cars from the auction, right? Like $800. I can go buy a police interceptor for like $800, flip it for like $4,000, and I do that on the side. So no matter what, I'm always going to find a way of making money. Like nowadays, it's easier. Back when, Pedro, you, me, like when we were younger, you could like go out mow some lawns and stuff, making your money that way. Now we got the internet, so there's so many ways of
So many
making money.
ways.
Like right now, I'm in an Ethereum trade right now. I'm up $4,000 for the day. I want to learn how to trade. I want to learn. I try to learn all these ways of making money,
With this
and
right here,
teaching
a
myself.
phone, you can make so much money with
Yeah,
this, and people are afraid to even try it. You know, they think they can't.
really.
There are a lot of people making money with the phone device on social media right now, and it's
I
it's
mean,
a thing, man.
I do it for mine. Like, I try to put out a video a week on my channel. Like, it can be anything because my channel consists of like, it can be gig work, it can be trading, it can be fitness. I just mix it all in there. I just post whatever I want to. Now, if I get views, cool. If I don't, I don't. It's fine. I do it for my own purpose because I can look back at my own videos and see how I progressed. And, it's more of a hobby to me, to be honest. And I like doing it. And maybe some of my content will go out there and it will help other people, or any issues they have with their car, or any of the gig work problems. I do that as well. I mean, I just like doing it. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. We get stuck in the some of us get stuck in the rat race of like gig economy, and I got to make money food delivery, and you have a good day. It's like, oh, I made $200, and it's like we get stuck chasing that 200, not realizing there's a lot of other ways to make money, whether it's with a W-2 or a different side hustle or whatever. But I think, because I've been there, I was doing DoorDash, pretty much only DoorDash for about 2 years, 2.5 years, and like making 250 a day, and not realizing I was leaving a lot of money on the table in my marketplace. I didn't know what I didn't know. So, yeah.
Yeah, you
But
definitely
that's
gotta
all.
like you. Mhm.
That's also a person by person basis because some people just don't have. Like I said, once you put yourself behind the 8 ball, it's hard to catch up and do that kind of stuff. Plus, if he has a background in weight training, he has. Some people. Let's fucking face it. They have no skills, bro. They have no skills. They don't. Some people have been raised by mommy and daddy their whole life, and they don't have the skills to do these kind of things, or they get sidetracked with trying to get the box or trying to do this or they get sidetracked doing other stuff. So,
So Roy, what do you say to somebody that doesn't have a certain skill, and they feel like, oh, this is all I can do, I'm just going to do DoorDash or whatever? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm only going to deliver food. Like, what do you say to somebody like that? Because you used to have a business, right, back in the day. I think you've talked about
yeah,
that before.
I
So
actually 3 of them. I had 3 of them. Yeah.
what do you say to somebody that has that kind of mindset, or maybe they were never taught it, maybe they don't feel like they can do it? Like, what do you say to somebody like that?
My thing is you need to start at the bottom. I know this sounds horrible, but you need to start at the bottom and move your way up. Whatever the job may be, you got to start at the bottom. If you don't have any real skills, then I suggest you get on Indeed, start at a lower level job. Like you said, you got the gig work, do that as a part time to help supplement whatever the case may be. But you got to start at the bottom, learn something. Whether it's even if it's McDonald's, starting at the fry guy, McDonald's managers make a grip of money. They actually make good money. A lot of people they laugh, "Oh, you're a McDonald's manager." They make good money. A lot of people don't realize that stuff. So even if you start off as the fry guy and move your way up, you're learning basic skills, and then you're ending up being a manager or whatever, which will in turn put you in a better position to be a manager of a restaurant later on down the road. But I think so many people, because of the internet, they got it. Oh, I got to make my bag fast, and it's got to be the biggest bag possible. And because we got so many people that think they're entitled. Oh, I do gig work because I'm my own boss, which we know you're not. You're a gig employee, in my opinion. That they think, oh, I can't listen to a boss. I'm too good to listen to a boss. You better suck it up, or you're going to be out on the street. And see a lot of people putting themselves in a position to be on the street a week later. You know what I'm saying? Because they're living week to week. And once that car breaks down, you're screwed. And that's what I think. So I think people that don't have any real skills, man, start at the bottom level and move your way up. Especially if you're young, because by 35 you could have a great job making good money. Instead of sitting in a parking lot looking at $2.50 orders. Because anybody that has put themselves in a position to take a $2.50 order, you need to look for something else to do. I'm sorry.
If it's too often, yeah. I see Kathy in the background. I'm gonna bring her up, guys. Kathy, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Are you ready? Okay, I see you. Okay, I'm gonna bring Kathy up. Kathy, how are you tonight?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What do you got to add to this conversation?
Well, I've been doing Spark for a little over 3 years, and the thing is, it's just gone completely to the shithole. I mean, in all honesty, if it's not because we've got foreign people that shouldn't be here that are using false identification, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, right now I'm doing Spark as a part-time at this point. I can't make a living off of it anymore. So yeah, I mean, it's true. You cannot live on $2.50. If I'm sitting more than 2 hours in a parking lot, it's time to go find something else to do. Because that's not the economy is rough. Things are expensive. I mean, I have a friend that has overextended, and he used to make $1,600 a week on Spark, and now he's got a $1,500 mortgage payment. Well, I can't say mortgage; he's renting a home, and a $700 car note. And I'm thinking, you're living beyond your means right now. This whole gig thing is crap right now. Why would you do that to yourself? So, like right now, I do have, I have a disabled adult son, and so I'm able to get some hours with that through the state. There's a state waiver for that. That's been helpful. I'm old enough now to collect Social Security now, so that helps too. So, I mean, I had a little bit of a way out. I started like my own business. I wanted to do crafts, so I started doing craft shows. I'm not making a ton of money, but I got a lot of oohs and ahs, and most of my stuff is holiday-ish. And so I'm trying something else, instead of just relying on the gig economy at this point, because it's a hole. I burned out that Dodge Journey that I had when the transmission, that was the last thing to go. And I'm like, you can't even get a transmission for the car. How much? That's more than what I still owe on the car. Hell no. So, it's the mileage and what they've done. I don't know if anyone's, like you said, has looked through the terms of agreement with Spark, but before their last update, the TOA basically had said you could do a class action. Okay. Now it's on an individual basis. You cannot do it, you know what I'm saying, as a class action anymore. And they are deactivating people. Since they don't have DDI, who was originally that was doing it in the beginning, and they've got other people, and nobody wants to call support anymore because you can't even get anybody that knows anything that's going on. They've got, I'd rather call people that were had the roosters in the background than where I'm calling now when we have a problem. It's like nobody listens, nobody cares, and it's I should have been out at these locations many a times, and I'm just waiting for them to get a slap on the hand because they willingly knew what was going on and didn't do nothing about the problem. But
well, yeah, and you mentioned that. I don't want to get too political, but the companies should be held more responsible because they know sometimes what they're doing and how they're having this cheap labor and taking advantage of it, and they never get. It's like a slap on the wrist for the big companies, and they all we do is lock up the little guy, and the big companies never get held responsible. Like it's crazy to me, but.
Pay a fine, and that's it. That's what they do.
And that's part of the problem. And that's part of the problem with legislation, because you don't really want legislation because you're going to get jacked, because we know how they like to stick it to the man. And then, but without some kind of legislation, these companies run rampant. They can do whatever they want. So it's almost like a two-ended. You know what I'm talking about? Two-ended rubber.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking something else that you're getting a shaft with. You either get it from the goddamn or you get it from the app.
Chinese finger cuffs.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that's the problem, and it's just like, and if you got young kids growing up, man, get them in trade schools, man. They always need welders, plumbers. Those are big money jobs at 2 years in school, and you're making hundreds of grand a year on that most of the time. You can make a ton of money. And people just, I know they get stuck on this. I don't want to follow a boss. What did everybody do before they had gig work? You followed a boss. You were a grown adult. So this whole idea now that everybody, I can be my own boss, which you're not. You're the last on the totem pole when it comes to being a boss. So, but I'm just saying, man, And these companies all work the same. We've seen it. I started with Lyft in 2016. Great company, turd. Uber, turd. They all go down. They're all great at the beginning, and Spark is the same thing. Everybody's like, Spark's the greatest. Spark's the greatest. Yeah, Spark still works for some people, but look what's happening with Spark. Down toilet, just like every other app. These apps, they follow each other's footsteps. They're great to suck you in. Come on, come on, come on, come on, and then they turn you inside out and kick you to the curb whenever they feel like it. So
yeah, you
that's
go from $30 maybe an hour to, if you're lucky, to making
yeah,
$10 an
exactly.
hour. It's the truth.
Exactly. Because why should Walmart Spark do anything special when they can see DoorDash screwing you over? They see Uber Eats screwing you over. Why would Walmart be like, oh, the one exception to be the greatest of all time? They ain't. They're all about saving money and making money too, just like DoorDash, Uber. They're all the same. They're all worried about their pocketbooks at the end. They don't care about your pocketbooks.
So what do we, now that we know, and this happens in a lot of other sectors of work, right? It becomes good for a while. They kind of get you in, whether it's a W-2 sometimes or gig work. They get you in. Everything's good in the beginning. You know, you like that job. You like the DoorDash app, the Spark app. You're making good money. And then, like Kathy said, you have a friend, or maybe it's even you. You build your bills around having a good 6 months of income. And then eventually it starts to go down a little bit. Maybe 1 week it's good because it's a holiday, but then over the course of years or several months, your earnings go down and down and down, right? The opportunities become less and less because saturation goes up, pay goes down, right? More people talk about the side hustles and more people come to them. So what's the next thing? What do you guys think gig workers should be looking at next? What's the next wave? Because this, for most, not all, okay, this isn't to offend anybody that's still doing it and making great money. That's fantastic. But most are not. So what is the next thing that we should be like aspiring to do? Is it a different 1099? Is it a trade? Like what do you guys say to that? What's the next thing?
That's the mind of a gig worker right there. And I'm gonna go off on that. It's funny, you say your wage goes down and down. The mind of a typical gig worker is, I gotta get a new app. It goes down and I got to get a new app. No, and after app 16 or 17, you see the trend 16 and 17. I think it's time to realize the apps are the apps. Find something else.
I agree.
That's the mind of
for real.
Yeah, that's the mind of a typical gig worker. Oh, my wages are going down. Let me get a new app. Let me go on YouTube, see what the best new app is. That's the mind of a gig worker.
Well, I don't think it's just a gig worker. I think that's, even if you're a W-2, if you lose your job at Taco Bell, you're probably going to go work at Pizza Hut, McDonald's. You're going to go to something similar in the immediate future, right? In that time, because that's what you know, and that's just the accessibility of what you can do, and your skill level is at that level. My question is, what's the next thing for us? What should we be thinking about? You know, maybe not just another app. It could be something 1099 related, but just a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
Start poaching shit. In my personal opinion, poach. Mike Drop Barbecue. Poach your customers. If you drive for Uber, you drive for Lyft, and you know you have regular day-to-day customers, take that away from the gig apps. Take them away. That's the way I look at it now. Is if kind of like what a rodeo says, do those apps or do it yourself. If you're one of those guys, you know this person gets groceries every week. Most people that order Spark, they do it every week. They do it every 2 weeks because they got to feed the fams. They need the groceries. Man, try to poach them if you can. Be their personal shopper. Do shit like that.
I want to say something real quick. I'm sorry. I had that happen today too. So I went and did a Walmart Spark order today, and the guy was waiting outside for the order. I'm like, okay. He comes up to me. He's like, can you hand me the groceries? Because usually the guys that come up here deliver my groceries always crush my bread, and they never listen to me and putting it, because the app says to go ahead and put the groceries on the chair. I'm like, hey, no, I usually separate everything. I can take everything for you. You don't have to. I'll put it on the chair, and I'll make sure that your bread, I make sure the bread and everything is separate so it's not crushed, because nobody wants to have crushed bread. I get it. So he went ahead and asked me, he's like, well, is there any way that we can have you to be our driver? I'm like, well, I'm not too far away. Here's my business card. If you want me to do your grocery shopping, We can figure out a fee or something. I got every platform to be paid on, so we can figure some out. Or you can just pay me in cash, and I can, do a good deed. But I gave him my business card because that's what I've been doing lately, just giving that out. So yeah, that's what like you said, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I've had that happen
Yeah,
to me a
sir.
couple times with a couple Instacart orders. These elderly people, especially, because
Hmm.
I'm like you. I'm very careful. I check eggs. I make sure bread is separate. And they'll ask me, please, will you bring them in, sit on my table? I can't. My back hurts. I
Yep.
can't really lift that stuff. But hey, no problem. And they're like, hey, can I get you every time? Well, sure. So I give them my number. Like, hey, next time you need to order, don't deal with that. Call me.
Yep.
Send me a
And
list,
that,
and
and
I'll
to
go get
be
it for you.
and to be honest with you, that's the best way, because if you're one of those great customer service people like you guys, you go through that extra effort, it's gonna be really easy to poach those customers, because we
Yeah,
got so many
exactly.
trash ass people. You got so many trash
Oh yeah,
delivery
dude.
drivers.
This is not idiot
Yeah,
proof.
everybody that's ordered on the apps can give you, or on the apps can give you a horror story of some driver. Oh my god,
I
they did
can,
this.
dude.
But
For
if you
real.
show,
Yeah.
but if you show that extra effort, they'll be easy to poach.
Let
They'll
me
be
read
easy to
this.
poach.
Let me read this comment since it's on the topic. I think it says Michael says that's a good way to get deactivated, giving out business cards while delivering. That's probably true, right? If you look at the TOS, poaching could get you deactivated if the company finds out. And I think a lot of us, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to grow something on the side, but we have to know the risk involved in it, right? If that customer says, hey, I'm not, I'm canceling my Walmart Plus, and they're like, oh, why are you doing that? Oh, well, I found this local guy that's going to do it for me. And the likelihood of that happening is probably pretty low, but we have to understand the risk versus reward with these companies, because I'm sure that could happen if they were to find out about it. And I think we can get some business. I have a couple private clients I can take around, but
Hmm.
having those private clients, whether it's shopping or rideshare, for most people isn't going to match what you're making on the apps. You know what I mean? So I think there has to be a little bit of a balance and also a sense of reality, because you're not going to be able to just wake up and have everybody calling you the way the apps hit your phone with offers. So you got to be careful with it, at least, if that makes sense.
Good point.
It'd be a slow process, but at the end of the day, it'd be more beneficial process. Or if you have that W-2 and you're doing gig work part time, shit, I'd rather have good 5 poached customers that call me on a Saturday to go get their shit, and have 2 days a week where you're taking your poached customers or your loyal customers that you got for yourself, and do that on the weekend. Guaranteed money. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
absolutely. I'm an advocate for it. I just think I put that disclaimer out there because we just have to understand that, that could, you might set yourself up for some issues. You'll have to figure out how to handle it.
yeah.
But I think we should be trying to grow things and build things for ourselves. I think that's great.
And, and
That's
let's be honest. If a customer brings it up to you, chances are they're not going to rat you out. They're looking for that. That's what they want. They want that
sure.
good person to do it for them. So if any customer ever comes to you, I'm sure it's not a DoorDash spy or a Walmart spy or something. They're asking for a reason, and that person isn't going to rat you out. They're not going to rat you out. So as long as they're approaching you with the idea first, man, jump on that opportunity. Jump on that shit, bro.
Hmm.
I'm just picturing a DoorDash spy like with a trench coat.
Yeah, I don't see Walmart. I don't see Walmart. Yeah, I don't see Walmart sending out fucking spies to see if they're getting their customers poached. I don't see that.
Hmm.
That'd be fun. I mean, it'd be such a small drop in a bucket of what we'd be. There's so many people. The
Yeah.
convenience that the Walmart Plus app offers, the DoorDash app offers, the convenience of it's better than calling somebody. Because yeah, I might give a business card out. Mike might, Roy might, Kathy might. But that
Yeah.
customer knows if they order on the app, they're going to get it. Somebody calls me if I'm with my kid at the playground. I'm not just going to jump in the car and go grocery shopping for them necessarily, right? So the customer knows that the loyalty is still going to land in the apps because they use them, and most of the time you're going to be okay with them. You might get somebody smashing your bread, but at the end of the day, it's poaching it's not for everybody either, right? It takes a certain
Yeah.
individual, certain customer service, certain mindset, certain hustle, It's not going to be for everybody. It's not for the weak. It's a completely different hustle, you know?
I've always been a hustler since I was 15 years old. So when I wanted to learn something, I learned it, and I was like, okay, I need money. So what can I do? I was like, yeah, I mean, I've done, McDonald's and stuff when I was younger and everything, but I wanted to figure out other ways of, setting myself up, and I try to have fail safes, and that's what I'd done at a younger age. I was always good at just buying and selling stuff for more. So that's what I did the most, and I got good at it to the point where I made more money buying and selling things than I did at my actual job. So I just continue to do that, and now I just kind of do a mixture of everything, W-2 and the 1099 and my own stuff on the side. So if anything fails, I always have something to go to.
Yeah, that's smart, man. Super smart. I think,
Good
you know,
idea.
and it takes a certain individual that and a certain mindset to be able to juggle those different types of work and finding your own and having the schedule of a W-2. Like it's not easy, but I think if you can do it, that's going to be more sustainable long term, and you're giving yourself protections, which is smart, you know.
Mhm.
One,
And definitely don't be doing stuff to get yourself deactivated. God damn it.
yeah,
No, don't call Uber cussing at the lady in the Philippines. Don't do it.
Yeah, you can call her. Just don't be cussing at her. The poor lady has nothing to do with it.
what I was gonna say is like one of the things I read like recently this past week is we're all responsible for us. So if things are not working out, whatever it may be in your life, you have the accountability. You've got to do something about it. It can't be like, oh, this
Amen.
person did this or this person did that. You have to take the accountability to do something about it. And that's the thing is if you just say, oh, I'm just going to let it go and then not fight, you're not fighting for yourself. So that's like the biggest thing is you have to be responsible. All your actions, you can't blame this corporation or that corporation, even though it might be stinky, but the thing is, how are you going to come out at the top? You have to go to the next step. And so many people, I think, with the gig, like you said, they'll go from one app to another and it'll be great for a while and then it'll suck. But I think the biggest thing is we all know at one time during the pandemic, everybody felt like royalty, having stuff delivered, and people got entitled. And there's so many people that are using the app so much. I almost feel that there's an abuse in a sense of entitlement that all these people are now wanting, oh, I can do this and I can do this and I can call that. And yeah, it's great. But then these companies have figured out there's such a great need. We're going to suck all the drivers over because we know we can get somebody to take their place. There's somebody that's willing to take that 14-mile run or going into the hood or whatever because they decided to micro map everything and it makes sense and it doesn't, but because I'm sure everyone's realized for Spark that mileage has gone up. Most orders are not under 10 miles anymore. They're all over the place. And I'm not talking like the .coms. I'm just talking like an average order, at least in my area. So because like this micro cell thing is if from my understanding is if they don't have it at that specific store, instead of shipping it out, they would rather find the store that's 20 minutes away and have it delivered from that store and then bring it all the way back to your neighborhood because that's how they would rather do it. So they're making money. They figured out a method to madness, and we in turn have to decline and let the suckers take those small ass orders because that's basically it. Oh, I can't hear anybody.
No, you're good.
It's
I was
Oh, okay. I stunned everybody. Oh no.
We were listening
Mic
for the
drop.
crickets.
Yeah.
That's good.
But then
I
again,
got a couple-
and when it comes to deactivation, drivers are their own worst enemy too. We've seen it over and over again. So, at this point, when it comes to gig work, man, it's a he said, she said. You're not guaranteed anything anymore. People out there, like she was speaking, Kathy was saying, the entitlement. They think they deserve everything, and so it's a crapshoot right now. Dead ass. It's a crapshoot. Every customer you walk up that door and drop that food off, it's a crapshoot. Am I getting a turd ass customer? Am I getting a good customer? And it's to run your life hoping on a crapshoot. Fuck that. That's not me. That's why I went to the W-2 world, because I make good money. A lot of people laugh, oh, pizza boy, but I make good money where I work, and I enjoy it. So
We got a couple more people backstage. I'm gonna let them up. You guys want to hang a little bit? You guys got time still? They're up on the panel.
I got time.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
So I got a random Ryan here, and we got AMC's back. Oh, I can't have AMC. Hold on, the studio's limited to 6. So AMC's gonna have to wait a minute. Random Ryan, what do you got on your mind tonight?
Oh, hey, can you hear me right now? My bad. I'm
Yeah, we
losing
can
it.
hear you. You're good.
All right,
Yep.
Can hear you
cool.
loud and clear,
I'm
brother.
bad with technology and stuff. So I don't want to start anything or do what I just want to give some information about. I actually worked for DoorDash as a W-2 employee at the Dashmart.
Okay.
And we had a system where we had the packages, last mile package, and did all that, as well as Dashmart orders. And there are a lot of things that I heard just minutes ago that aren't true. And I want to caution people that they do test people, they do test drivers, they test by ordering themselves and by making sure you check ID, making sure you don't um, use somebody else's ID, because we get a lot of people that try to pick up packages or other things with somebody else's ID, and we don't allow that. There's a lot of secret shopping that goes along. So just be careful, be wise of that. Even I got tested many times. People that we even know come in, and we have corporate. I'm in the Austin, Texas area, and corporate likes to come here a lot. And I quit, by the way, so that's why I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
they're trying to do a lot more in Austin, other than San Francisco, and even for us, they started doing the Zen packages, and in Texas you have to be 21 for tobacco. And even one of the corporate guys ordered it. I bagged it for him, and he's like, I'm like, yeah, I asked for his ID. He's like, I'm glad you asked that, because just because doesn't mean no. So I worked with both sides, and I also was a gig worker. The thing also with the deliveries and stuff, they can control who kind of gets access to the deliveries and not. Because I didn't know this. I don't kind of like it, but people were
Are
sitting
you
outside.
Ryan? You're talking about at the Dashmart specifically, correct?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So the other ones were the third party vendors, are like the contractors, like Chili's and stuff. They have their own system and they work on their own. But when it's through DoorDash themselves, I can put what they usually did for those is they didn't allow people that were within about half a mile to a mile of the Dashmart to get priority orders. They wanted people that were a little further away, and especially for packages were a high priority and stuff. Now they did a third party. Now Staples here, at least locally, Staples takes care of that now. So I don't know how it is now, but like they are very they watch everything, and they had and just like you guys know, there is intern service, no compete basically. They're not, put it this way, we're too small that they're not going to really matter or care.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like weed is illegal federally, but the feds are not going to come after you. So it's just one of those things. I just use caution, just do what you want to do and stuff, but be ready for issues to happen if you go against it. So that's all I
Yeah.
wanted to say. And if you have any questions, I'm willing to
No, I think
answer.
I appreciate that info, and I know we got a Dash Mart here in St. Louis. And when I was doing DoorDash, I'd pick up from time to time. So it's good to hear that info,
Yeah.
and that's a way for DoorDash to just kind of get their feet into like that convenient, like CVS, Walgreens was basically
Oh,
that kind of their competitors, right? So they're
it's
trying to get that, because those are the kind of things that they would have in stock for people to order. And it was
uh
very inflated pricing from what I remember.
you
A
want to
bag
hear
of
something?
chips was like $6.
You want to hear something crazy? Is that it's got worse. They're expanding a lot of stuff. You can get vibrators and adult
Yeah.
stuff. You can get anything, PlayStation controllers. But they expanded a lot, at least in our location, to fresh groceries and stuff. And here's the crazy thing: is we have vendors and all that. They come in, but a lot of times your fresh fruit and vegetables and all that, they come from those Sprouts. They come from your local grocery stores. All that. We buy it at regular price at the grocery store, and they just mark it up at the Dashmart. That's all it really is, half the
It's
time.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's
um,
crazy.
so
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, they are taking over convenience. They're like this nice 7-Eleven, a better 7-Eleven,
7-Eleven.
pretty
I
much.
think that's probably better than my 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
It's because when you go to a 7-Eleven, things are sometimes a little more expensive. It's convenient, it's quick, it's snacks, it's junk food usually, it's
Yeah.
not a lot of fruits and vegetables, like, and people like that convenience. And if they're like a Dash Pass customer
Mhm.
and they can order from Dashmart, it's like, oh, this is great. And people liked it. I mean, I did some of those orders, and It's interesting though that you mentioned, because we got a guy in the chat that mentioned it. The
Yeah, I'm not looking at the
proximity thing. You said the proximity, like you guys had some level of control of who the order would be sent to. Is that what you said?
So yeah, we had full control of that, really. Well, not everybody, just shift leads or the management has
So you
control of
could.
that.
So let me ask you a question. You
Yeah.
could see what dashers were in that zone. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
no, no, no. So what it was this is it's like your GPS or your pinpoint location. So our pin is at our store, and then it'll show like a shaded red area, like a radius of circle, and you can decide how big that radius is, that red part. And so that red circle is where they don't send it. Like if you're in that red circle within like a 5 mile or half mile radius, a mile radius, then you're not going to probably get orders compared to somebody that's outside that radius. So they don't want you sitting at the door waiting for an order. So that's why
Got it.
sometimes you'll be sitting at the door, you wonder why you're at a place and you're not getting orders and somebody's coming up. That's one of the reasons why. And it was more so for the packages because those were high priority. Like every day, you see your regulars all the time, and it was hard to get on. It paid well, at least here in Austin. It's very market specific, as you know. But yeah, they don't want people waiting in line for 30 minutes or at the door for 30 minutes and congesting the parking spots, doing the pack,
So you're
So
saying
Well,
that
kinda makes sense.
they didn't want the order to go out to somebody that was 100 feet away because the order might not be ready yet. Is that what you're saying?
oh no, no, no. So dispatch for packages, we never it okay, never mind. I won't say never. If we could get they're supposed to be done by 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time is our time. 8:30 in the morning. And they're supposed to be all sorted and ready to go all at the same time. Once they're done, we sorted them, you turn it on, dispatch on, and they all go out. That's how it goes. And so no, it's on rare cases like holidays and stuff, you go, it's a lot busier, so that may be the case. But no, it's a drop at 8:30 a.m. for us, and that's it. So
Interesting. Okay.
and
Interesting.
then I don't know how the algorithm chooses who gets what orders and stuff, but I do know the proximity matters on priority. So
That makes sense. God, I
yeah,
appreciate that. I appreciate that
no
info.
problem.
What do y'all think about proximity? I talked about this last week. Should it be should it be the closest person gets the order ratings? And we talked about it last week a little bit. Now that Ryan's mentioned this proximity thing and the control the app has, what do you guys think about proximity?
Well, one of the things I was
I,
saying that's
my
one of the things that Spark started doing. They said you don't necessarily have to be in the parking lot anymore waiting for orders. They would prefer you to be away from the pinpoint. So, and you could be 20 minutes away, but yet they want you there in 15 minutes. It kind of like is.
I noticed that. I see that all the time over here.
Yeah, with packages, by the way, we did have that too, where you had to be there within an hour. But at the half hour mark, we actually had the control to cancel it on you or say, no, we don't want it even before. So like and we could track where you are and about the ETA and everything. So there were a lot of people that accepted, but they were running late or that they were far away. And we're like, well, we're not going to allow that. And we just take it off their routes or take it off their order. So yeah, you're tracked all the time. And at least in that area, I don't know about third party
Let
like
me
Philly.
ask you this,
Yeah.
since you did DoorDash. So I know with Spark, because people were doing it like when it first came out about throwing it in airplane mode. Now you can't do that. Is that the same thing how DoorDash is? That people will look like they're there, but they're not really there, and they could be 30, 45 minutes away?
Huh.
well, I'm gonna
So
say,
it could be, but I never personally ran into that because we've had
Okay.
people and we had a lot of regulars with even just regular orders, to be honest. You'll start to see the same people, of course. But it was pretty accurate because there was many times where somebody was far away. You see the time, you hate to do it, but like I need this out, you need to get done. And then within that like 15 minutes, they actually showed up, even if they didn't have the order. And of course, they would complain and be like, "I had the order, but it disappeared," and like, hey, I don't know what to tell you other than you got to be here earlier. And see, that's the problem, that there's a there's a back and forth with what's said to you and what corporate and management says. Because on the app, I think it does give you an hour to get there. But if the store wants it half hour, 45 minutes, they don't have to give you that full hour, which I think is kind of fucked up because excuse me, but I think it's kind of messed up because if they give you that hour, you should be able to get that hour. And like you said, what if their system or the GPS ain't working properly and you're actually there? So I didn't agree with that. And the other thing too, sometimes even with regulars, their spouse comes and says, "Oh, they're on their way. They got a flat tire," and it's like, "Can I start?" You know, and even though they're a spouse or we knew them, we still couldn't because IDs and yeah, you never. And that's the thing.
Well, I would like to.
You never know who's testing you too. Honestly.
I would like to thank Ryan for coming up here and proving the point. You're not your own boss. I want to say thank you to Ryan for proving that.
Well, hey, even I work for myself
once again,
now.
it shows that you have no control. You're not independent of nothing. They control everything.
That's true.
And that's
But
a good point. And as
even
far
when you
as
work for yourself, I
proximity,
tell people, like you have customers, no matter what, you're always going to answer to somebody. Even if you work for yourself, you're getting paid by somebody, you're doing work for somebody, serve somebody. So you might be your own boss, but you still have responsibilities to people. So you'll never be truly free. But like you're saying, man, it's when you can't do anything about it or speak up, like yeah, you're screwed. Like you're working for them, even if you're a
yeah, but
contractor.
that's always been a selling. But that's always been the selling point of gig apps. You're your own boss. You do this. You do that. You do this. When behind the scenes, it's not even like that. That's their main selling point. And as far as proximity goes, I think every restaurant should have a delivery zone. You should never have to go farther than 3-4 miles for any food delivery because that's just gross. After a period of time, that's just gross. And there is enough drivers out there that you should be able to have a limited delivery area. So if you're picking at McDonald's, there should be no more than a 4-mile radius to deliver that McDonald's. Because at that point, it's just being gross and it's unhealthy, possible food illness situations. So if that's one thing that they need to fix, if they can fix that, that'd be great also. Because if it's, let's say it's a 1-mile delivery, you shouldn't have a hard time having somebody take a $4 for 1 mile. You shouldn't. So, if you are taking the shitty ass $4 order, at least you're only going a mile versus taking a $4 going 8 miles. You know what I'm saying? And plus, just for food safety reasons, they should have it set to a radius that, okay, we're not going any farther than 4 miles on McDonald's because it's just gross to me. And I think that's one thing that
we should have some kind of radius, but the companies want all the customers to be serviced, and they'd lose money, like it would. And these companies don't care. Sometimes the merchants don't. Some do better than others, but the companies don't care about food quality and food safety. Roy, we've worked in the restaurant industry. I think maybe some of you guys have on the panel. Many people in the chat probably either waited or cooked. The way that we've delivered food right now is not very food safe. Probably 7 times out of 10, it's not. It's not being time temperature controlled. When we go to pick up these bags, they just got it sitting on a counter, and it's hot food with cold food. Like the temperature danger zone on most of our orders is compromised often, but there's money in it, so they don't care about that at all.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but then again, it's sometimes. Okay, go ahead. My bad.
No, what I was going to say is, like, for example, what about that driver that's double dipping and doing 2 apps? He's going to go pick up an Uber and he's going to go pick up Spark. Who's going to get their food? You know what I'm saying? You've got the cold chain, things start melting or things start getting cold. I mean, it's like, because sometimes, like with Spark, there's almost an hour and a half before from the time, say if you did a shop, before you need to bring it. I think personally, when I lived in Illinois and I had a sanitation license, that's too long. An hour and a half is too long. Cold temp starts going down. I'm sorry. It starts getting warm. And I agree. It should be a short radius if you're going to have perishable items.
Yeah, especially like fish and chicken for real. Yeah.
And then to what Pedro said, the customer. You know what? In my personal opinion, screw the customer. If you live 20 miles away from Cold Stone and you feel you got to have Cold Stone, it comes melted, drink it. That's my opinion.
No, I agree.
You know that shit's gonna melt. You know it ain't gonna make it.
That's on you.
Well, I had something to. I want to say something. I want to say something real quick. I was just curious. Do you think a lot of the customers, like, I don't know if it matters or not, but say like there's a restaurant you want food at, like, I don't think a lot of customers know that they can pick restaurants that are closer to their house, like through like the DoorDash app. I don't think a lot of people know how to do that. You know what I mean?
I'll order directly from the restaurant
Well,
versus
well,
ordering through
well.
DoorDash.
See, cause like I'll pick up like I'll get like I got a place called Salad and Go. There's one 15 miles away from my house, but there's also one 2 miles from my house. So I'll go in the DoorDash app, and I can go ahead and click Salad and Go, and I can go ahead and click the one that's closer to my house. So there'll be a dasher that's actually closer to my house to hopefully go pick it up. I would hope.
Unless it's like certain hours where they don't have enough drivers, and then they're just going to throw it out because
Hmm.
there's not that many out today that are not working.
Or a big
So
thing is the systems go down a lot. They did it with Dashmart too and stuff. Like every place might have technical issues or tablet issues, and it's annoying. And as a consumer, by the way, Roy, I think it is. I hate that though. I wish there was bigger zones, honestly, because there being here in Austin, I miss my Chicago pizza and stuff. And there's a good Chicago place with pizza. And when I used to deliver pizzas, we had zones too, and it sucked. Like we went far places, but anyway. I can't order DoorDash from that pizza, and they don't even deliver. It's like I have to go get the pizza, and it's a 20-minute drive. It's a little far, but for pizza, that ain't bad. So me as a consumer, and I'm part of the problem. I don't care. Just get it to me. But like you said, that's part of the consumer problem. You got to
Yeah.
know what to expect. If you know it's going to be far and stuff, you might get melted. It might be cold pizza. But at least I know. So, and you get people though that are ignorant and they order something like, "Hey, why is it cold?" Well, look at the map. I mean, it's not that difficult to figure it out.
Ryan, you just said it.
Yeah.
Well,
Consumers don't care. They don't
this is
care. They
what
just
I've
want
seen
what they
from
want.
DoorDash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is what I've seen from DoorDash. I work at a W-2 that uses DoorDash, so I've been doing an experiment lately, saying when the DoorDashers come in, I'm asking to see the address. I want to see the address where this food is going. They'll show me the address, and there's Pizza Huts, no shit, right down the street from where they're delivering from our store. So they're driving all the way from our store to deliver pizza where there's a pizza place that I work for less than 3-4 blocks away from the order. So that's the corny shit that I'm talking about. There's no reason that order should come to us when it should go to the one that's 3 or 4 blocks away from their house.
Well, the other thing
That's the
too, you
corny
gotta remember that they're franchisees and stuff, and so not all of them maybe have DoorDash, but they could be. And the one thing that when I left Dashmart, I don't know exactly the because I never sold one. Because we got special products all the time, like Mr. Beast hoodies, all these weird things. But when I left, they actually started pushing. They had POS systems for Dashmart or for DoorDash, and for businesses that wanted to like actually get on the DoorDash app that they could purchase through Dashmart a POS system and get signed up and do that. And
That's
I'm like, what
hilarious.
the hell? And I don't know if anybody bought it, but when I left, I never sold one or never packed one up. So yeah, they're pushing for more places because we also
Yeah.
that's the thing about Dashmart that is great actually. They promote a lot of mom and pop places and allow them to be on the app, and so we have a lot of small cookie stores and like Tiff Street stuff that are on the app, and like we also did a lot of foreign foods and like Squid Game cookies and all that. So it's great for a variety and get the small shops into like the app, but they're expensive as hell. And like you said too, like with packages, they don't pay anything to take stuff anywhere. And like I don't know how they make money sometimes. There was packages, they go an hour away and they're like probably keychain or something. And the driver gets $25 to take it by itself, no other packages. So I don't know what they're doing, but it's just great. They're just putting their egg, trying to do everything. Last mile
They want
packages.
as many. Those DoorDash wants as many because DoorDash's
Mhm.
customers are the businesses, and they want to offer the businesses and the customers they have double dip. They got the merchants and the customers, and the more merchants they have, the more customers that they can attract because they have these little boutiques, the mom and pop shops, also mixed in with the big ones, the McDonald's, the Taco Bells, the Papa. They want as many the Sephora's, the retail. They want it all. Lowe's, Home
There,
Depot,
there's actually I forgot exactly what it was. I'm not even supposed to say this to be honest, but come at me. I don't care.
I'm gonna
I
clip
forgot.
it. Say it. I'm gonna
I don't
clip it.
care.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know specifics, but they do
We have
have
the
like a
evidence.
5-year plan that they shared with us and their expansion plans and everything, especially with Dashmart, but DoorDash in general is a business. I don't know if you guys are aware, but they're all over the world and they're actually popping up a lot in other countries and they want to expand more globally.
Yeah.
But they want to do more than just food and groceries and stuff like that. They're looking at just everything, like pretty much like an Amazon. And I don't know if you guys anything to know about an app called Whatnot. It's an online selling platform, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that
Yeah,
DoorDash is
I know
kind of
about
doing, I think they're kind of doing maybe a play like they are. Whatnot, I know from behind the scenes, I know people that helped start it. They they want to get as much sellers and much buyers on there as possible. They don't care about scams that are happening on there, people getting ripped off. Their end goal is they eventually have a buyout or to be merged or taken over by somebody. And part of me believes that DoorDash and all these companies, Uber, they're sometimes operating at a loss and doing all this, but they're trying to show big numbers. So eventually a Google or an Amazon will buy them out, and then they can
That's
just
the
cash out.
key. That
That's
is
all it really
it
is.
right there.
So,
That is it. Looks good on paper.
mhm.
Because I mean, take for example, I mean, I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was sitting here like
didn't.
thinking in my head, you know, what about if a customer gets something like you're saying, you know, you don't have a milkshake anymore or ice cream, you've got milk at this point, flavored milk. And they're going to call up, they're going to complain. They have to give a refund now. So it's cost the company money. And there's this continuous thing. Or say, for example, something need to be signed for, customer wasn't home, okay? And the driver's supposed to return the items. They don't return the items, they steal the items. This is all money that gets lost. The company eats it. And I think this is why our pay has gone down excessively low. Yes, they have insurance. They can write a lot of this stuff off. But let's think about it. In the end, we're the ones getting cheated because all the people that screwed up on stuff. We get cheated.
Yeah, and that happened a lot with packages. We made people like check your card, check this. You have to 50. You know, it could be in our warehouse. Maybe we missed it, but it happens a lot more than you think. And yeah, it's just same with Whatnot. I just dealt with it tonight on Whatnot. I do sell on there and stuff, and somebody's accusing me of scamming them because I didn't send them. I give away a free card, and then he found it online. Somebody else has it, and they're trying to sell it. So I must have made a mistake or it was stolen, and somebody else. And now I have to go through repercussions. I lost money. I refunded him all that good stuff for his other stuff. And it's like you said, if you keep doing that on a bigger scale, you keep making mistakes, or you side with both sides and you just do money, then yeah, you're not going to be profitable. But like you said, the numbers, it's all about it's basically in business customer acquisition, and what's the customer acquisition cost and what does it look like, and and most businesses are losing money when they first start out, and over next maybe hopefully by 10 years from now they make money. And I think Uber for the longest time was losing money every year for what, a decade or so, and I think they're just now profitable. So
Yeah, well, I think these companies, we got to remember, they got their investors.
Mhm.
They're publicly traded now. They're not that way in the beginning, but they're okay with losing millions of dollars a month if that means a multi-billion-dollar payout 10 years down the line, right? And that's what we're talking about here. Maybe somebody else buying them and acquiring as many customers and merchants as possible. Like, the whole proximity thing and not being able to drive a lot, like they don't care about that. People want what they want. Ryan said it 20 minutes ago. I don't care how it gets there. Just get it to me. I don't care kind of when it comes. Like, I just want whatever I want when I want it. That's the America that we're living in right now. You know, it's fun. It's convenient. I could
But I
order
also,
something right now and it gets here, but nobody really thinks about the driver. Like, we just want what we want as consumers, you know?
but the drivers should be thinking about themselves somewhat too. Think about this. If you're a DoorDash driver, you go to pick that Cold Stone up. You looking at the map. You know it's 20 miles away. You're kind of, when you accept that order, let's say it's 20 miles, they're paying you $12 to go 20 miles. You're like, fuck it, I'll take it because it's slow. You also got to look at yourself and say, am I putting myself at risk? Because as a driver, you have experience. You're not dumb. You know ice cream's going to be melted if it takes you 20 minutes to deliver or 20 miles away to deliver it. Is it even a smart choice as a driver to take that order knowing that you're possibly putting yourself at risk, knowing that food's going to be melted and you're going to get it complained on? You know what I'm saying? So even as a driver, you should be aware of shit like that too. Like, okay, I got to go pick this McDonald's up. It's 20 miles away. Is it worth for me to pick that McDonald's up knowing that, yeah, I might make $10, but I'm also possibly going to get a complaint from the customer, which is then going to put my account in jeopardy. So you also got to think like that as a driver as well. Like, are some orders too good to be true that you could be costing your own account? because you're greedy or you have to have that money. You got to think of it that way too. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, on my W-2, there are certain customers I won't deliver to because I've had issues with them. And I know this. My bosses know this. So I'm not going to go back to this customer knowing I've had issues with them. So because that would be me asking for my issues, that would be me asking to get my job in jeopardy if I go back to them. And that's the same with independent employees, in my opinion. Is it worth the $10 knowing that you're putting your account at risk for a complaint because you knew that taking ice cream 20 miles away is going to get you a complaint because it's going to be melted? You know what I'm saying? So there's, the drivers have a lot of shit to think about too, besides money, 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 money. And that seems to be the only thing, money, money, money all the time.
Well, there's a lot of people that keep a crap list of who not to deliver to too. So when they get orders, because like with Spark, you kind of already have an idea. You've got the address, you've got a name, and you're like, yeah, they're in my do not deliver, like because of whatever situation. They're a crap, they take tips away, they tip bait, whatever the case may be. So yeah,
There's a guy that made
And
an
like
app.
right,
Real quick, there's a guy that made an app, and there's where you can log address or customer name to where like you can download that app of other people's putting in customers info to where if you see that name or customer address pop up, it's like an auto decline because of like repeated issues at that address. So it's interesting you say that. The guy developed an app for that.
and like Ryan said, I understand why DoorDash is trying to get into everything, because the way this society is right now, as lazy it's becoming and entitled it's becoming, 20 years from now, you're going to have a bunch of Wallies floating around. Dead ass. I can understand why DoorDash is doing it, because you're going to have a bunch of Wallies floating around because everybody's entitled and lazy nowadays.
That's where we're going.
So
that's what
people are smart to do.
You don't have to leave. You don't have to leave your house for anything. If you really think about it, there's an app or service you do not need to leave your house anymore. And 20 years ago, that was really not the case. But right now, everything's very accessible. If you have the money, you can pay for, and you don't ever have to leave your home ever. You just don't. That's the way we're going.
Well, wasn't there somebody that just, I forgot, I was reading this, maybe somebody else might have kind of read it too, but it was a couple, and they realized that they had over $6,000 in service charges for takeout from McDonald's and stuff like that they had accrued for the year that was just all service fees. But we also got the fact too that you don't have to pay for your food if you're broke this week either. We've got those apps too that some people will take Afterpay or Klarna or whatever that you can't, you can't eat. So you start getting into this repetitive cycle where you just keep ordering and ordering, and all of a sudden you're wondering why you're broke.
I was just about to say that when that came out, I actually went to my coworkers and my boss and asked about what their thoughts on were the Klarna or Pay After, and I was shocked, but everybody didn't care. To like, hey, that's what people want to do. Well, they don't get anything. They don't profit share. Although, to be honest, I was part-time and I still got a 401k match and actually good benefits. Crazy. They don't pay great, but they do have decent benefits for the W-2. But anyway, but yeah, everybody cared. That's what the aspect was like, hey, if they're gonna spend money, whatever, that pays my bills. I don't care. To pay. I'm like, oh, geez, that's how. Eventually, they're not gonna be able to pay anymore, or they're gonna kick off the app. But I want to point out something else that Ryan, that you mentioned on or put on the little tab or the comment. He said about being a tech company. And that's also what it is. People forget that DoorDash is not in the business of delivering goods and services. They're in their tech. And they, if anything, even if they're not profitable, they're going to sell your information, if anything, to all these other companies, and the algorithm of what you like and don't like, and push foods that you've ordered and all that kind of stuff. So when it all comes down to it, on most profitable, it's all about what they know about you. So that's kind of scary, but.
I see Ruby. See, they're saying 100. Okay, I love you.
Papa, what is that?
It's the light, dude. It's the light. I'll see you in the morning. So,
He's so sweet.
Yeah, she likes it. I don't mind. Listen, I like to show my kids off. I don't mind it at all. That's from when we went to the aquarium. So, listen, I'm gonna round the show out. I appreciate you guys giving me the time tonight. Um, hey, we're not gonna ever change the world with any of these conversations, and but it's fun to just kind of talk and get different perspectives and different vantage points, viewpoints on it, and give people something to listen to while they're working, something to think about. These apps can be great for a lot of us, but we just got to remember what our role is in them, how they look at us, how they can treat us, what the pay is going to be. Knowledge is power. Knowing that information can be helpful when you're going out there trying to figure out what app to add, what order to take. So, Mike, Roy, Kathy, Gig Bell, Ryan, I appreciate you guys for giving giving the show time tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And don't yell at
Don't
your,
don't
don't
sue
yell
me.
at your Uber. And don't yell at the Uber ladies.
All right, man.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night. Let me see. Let's see. There we go. All right. So, yeah, good show. Well, I don't know if it's a good show. I thought it was a good show. I'm really liking, I took so much time off from these Sundays. I did them for basically 3 years in a row. And it really helped me. It helped maybe the channel, the community. We had some good lives, some great lives, some not so great, but it was a great way to end the week. I designed these on purpose at 9 o'clock my time on Sunday, end of the week, basically for most gig workers. And we're thinking about the next week. And I really enjoyed the last couple of weeks, just kind of getting the vibes back, the pulse of the community, the live chat. I know you guys like hanging out in the live chat and the panelists coming up and just having your opinion heard, and it's good because a lot of us come to this work and we've been doing it for different amount of times, a different, shorter or longer amount of time than the next man or woman, or we do it for a completely different reason, or a different app, or we work the same app a completely different way because of our market, or because of what we value, or how much we have to make. And that's what's great about this kind of work. And I still, two things can be true at the same time. We can say these apps can be trash sometimes because they are. These apps can be trash sometimes if you allow them to be. Like, they are trash, and then also if you allow them to treat you that way, that's what you're going to get out of it. Okay, but then they can be an opportunity. Both those things can exist. I know plenty of people in the chat that have been doing this work for years, and they pay their bills, they're happy, they don't have great days every day, they don't love everything about it, but they're taking care of families or themselves, and there's value in that. There's value in opportunity. A lot of other places in the world, you got no opportunities. Let's remind ourselves of the power of being able to even just have an app or have a YouTube and have a voice to speak, and people there's power in that. So, let's not get lost in all the trash and the deactivations. There's some good stuff that the gig economy can offer you. There's good things you can offer it. But you just have to know the reality of what you're stepping yourself into, the reality of what you're actually making, not your gross. Okay, what's your profits at the end of the week? If you just made $1,000 this week, if you made 2,000, you worked every day, and you're like, I made 2,000. That's great. Your profit margin should be higher than if somebody only made 1,000. But you need to know your numbers. Okay, and I'm just really, really happy to be able to do these lives again, and you guys are coming back and watching and offering opinions. I'm very grateful for it, and I enjoy it. I still enjoy it. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Jess, I appreciate the $9.99, and all the people that gave super chats. I appreciate you guys very much. Oh, here we go right here. This is a good one right here. Whether you do it quarterly or by the year, don't forget a way to put your taxes. If you're 1099, you can pay every quarter what you think you're going to pay, and then at the end of the year, that can be retabulated, or you can pay small fines and then just do it at the end of the year. But yeah, you definitely got to do the taxes, right? That's very true, very true, very true. Random Ryan. So yeah, good show tonight. I appreciate it very much. I'll round out the show with this. I didn't know how long I'd be live, but it just feels like an appropriate time to kind of, I'll still be my kid will still be up when I end it, and I'll say goodnight to her one more time, maybe read her a book. So the timing just kind of worked out. I like these lives to be organic. Sometimes they're an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. It just kind of is what it is. But, the topic is deactivations. You will get deactivated. I say that because for a few people, that's maybe you needed to hear it. Any job, any gig, a W-2, you could be furloughed, laid off. There's a lot of people being laid off right now in this country. A lot. I know a few, but there's a lot. It's a trend with certain businesses. Okay? Opportunities are being taken away. They can be taken away from you. Whether deactivation, oversaturation, a glitch in the app, you just can't earn tomorrow, or you're just not seeing a lot hit your phone. Like, whatever word you want to use, I say deactivation because if you're not making money, it's the same as the deactivation. I won't be able to turn on Spark tomorrow. That's just the reality. But that doesn't mean I need to be the victim. You have to be the victim. You just have to make sure you set yourself up for when those things happen, because they will happen to all of us. Everybody will feel that. I don't care who you are, how long you've been doing it, how much you make, what you look like, what kind of car you drive, what apps you have. Something will happen. Just be ready for it. It's the best I can say. Appreciate all the love tonight. Fantastic live. Great way to end the week with you guys. Be looking for more content in the next coming days. And the plan is I'll probably be live next Sunday, but miss the Sunday after that because I'll be out of town. And then the plan is to do one at least twice a month, maybe on every other week or something like that. And some weeks it'll be a live panel like tonight. Other weeks, if I have something on my mind or something pertinent, or if I just want to rant and rave, I might do that style as well. But I do want to bring them back because I miss doing these lives, and I think there's enough people that still got value from them. So I don't mind giving the people what they like sometimes. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. If you're in a home, if you're in your car and you're with loved ones, give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Maybe they need to hear that today. Peace.